How you doing, buddy? Good. How are you? All right. What's up, Jaxon? Call. How you doing? Good morning, bud. Good morning. What's up, buddy?
Morning.
All right. Good. How are you? Good.
Okay, stand up on that board. Write down the 4 supplices for motions that we talked about. Write down the 4 supplices for motions that we talked about.
Well, now tuned in to the Dark Times channel.
And so here we go again, back with another one. Welcome back to the Dark Times channel. And before we get started, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button for me. And I want to go ahead and kick it off and talk about a particular video that I came across on the New York Giants website, in which they were featuring their quarterback. They just drafted Jaxon Dart. And it looked like one of the most softball interviews and breakdowns of the board that I ever seen. Not only was it a softball interview, it looked like they gave him the answers to the test.
How you doing, buddy? Good. How are you? All right. What's up, Jaxon? Call. How you doing? Good morning, bud. Good morning. What's up, buddy?
Morning.
All right. Good. How are you?
All right, so first thing obviously is the cadence. That's how we start the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So you get the huddle, you're called to play. Before you can start on your cadence, the number one thing you got to do is make sure what?
Everybody's set.
Everybody's set, everybody's in the right spot. You control that, all right? That's the job of the quarterback.
Y27.
Now, go ahead and teach those to me in a matter of like a minute.
We're gonna move on to pass protection now, all right? Now, before we get into it, this is the most important thing that you have to know going from college to the pros. There's gonna be more of them, and you have to know how to protect yourself. Kind of
Draw a blitz. Let's all assume that the 4 down linemen are blitzing or rushing, okay?
Yeah.
Draw a blitz from the remaining 7 guys that we could not pick up in this protection.
57 pro, who's the mic?
The mic is 41.
Good, who's the will?
51.
Do you have any issues to the strong side here with the protection?
No.
If you did, if he was coming down and getting on the line of scrimmage, you would say what?
Over.
Great.
Good job, buddy. Tell me what this tight end's doing that you don't like.
He should be pushing for leverage.
Yeah.
Excellent.
If I said gun, diesel right, 56, F my canner, who's running the shallow?
The F.
Who's running the curl?
The X.
Running the post?
The Z.
Who's running the middle?
The Y.
Good. All right.
Let's play one more game.
All right.
Turn around.
Turn. Toss. If you would have pointed the other one out.
Good. Nice, buddy. Good work. You threw it out in there. Good job, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate you. Well done, most of you.
And this looks like the complete opposite of what they say allegedly happened with Shedeur Sanders. Anonymous sources say allegedly happened with our brother Shedeur Sanders.
Personnel people in the NFL this weekend, they didn't even have him on his board, on their board. They took him off, and they took him off because the owner said take him off. I don't want that guy. I don't want this kind of person in our entitled person on our team.
Damn an interview. Okay. You're gonna tell me an interview, because typically what they say, Paul and Joy, they don't tell you about the interview, they tell you about the board. He wasn't successful on getting on the board. So they couldn't mess with his football IQ.
Stand up, let me see your snap count. Let me be honest with me, because I see at USC, I see this guy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You ready?
Yeah. No, I want to hear the snap count.
Yeah.
Really? Every time?
Every time.
Do you have like a dummy clap or anything?
Yeah, we call it purple.
What's that? No shit.
Yeah.
For 3 years, you've been clapping. I think I could do that.
Let me hear it.
No, I ain't doing it.
They couldn't do that. They couldn't do it, so they had to switch it to the interview and say he was arrogant because he came in with a chain on. Oh, okay. So he came in with a chain on. Big deal. He didn't slouch in his seat. He didn't walk out of the meeting room early. He didn't come late. Those are the things that make you worry. But having a conversation with you and telling you that he's going to change your franchise like he did Jackson State and like he did at Colorado, I want that on my team. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not gonna punish him and dock him because of that. I'm like, yeah, I got me a dog here.
And I've never played quarterback in my life, but some of the answers that they were asking him, I think I could have got some of the answers. And this is supposed to make Jaxon Dart look good. This is post-draft. This is supposed to get the fan base hyped. And you can't even tell really how well he did during this interview because it's so edited and chopped up that it's really hard to tell. And the New York Giants went out and did something interesting this offseason because the New York Giants are one of the few franchises that have never had a black franchise quarterback, a starting franchise black quarterback. And so this offseason, they went out and they signed Russell Wilson and they got Jameis Winston to back him up. And that allowed them to have the credibility to be able to pass on Shedeur Sanders. Because if they would have passed on Shedeur Sanders and not had any black quarterbacks in the room, people would have called it out for what it is. But now they can say they got a franchise black quarterback. They got a Russell Wilson. They gave him a lot of money for 1 year. And it looks like he's going to be a 1-year quarterback, if not a half-year quarterback. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jaxon Dart was starting by week 3. And Jaxon Dart is going to be the quarterback of the New York Giants for the foreseeable future. And so when I saw the New York Giants bring in not 1, but 2 black quarterbacks in the offseason, I kind of saw the writing on the wall for Shedeur Sanders. There was no way that they were going to draft Shedeur. They were going to get a quarterback, but it wasn't going to be Shedeur Sanders. And the reason why, as we were told, is because Shedeur Sanders didn't do well in the interviews. And Jaxon Dart aced the interview. And now we see why. But those are my thoughts on it anyway. Let's go ahead and keep that conversation going on down below. And as usual, peace and chaos.